People ask me all the time what I use on my skin. They want a product name, a brand, a miracle in a bottle, and I always disappoint them. Because my answer isn't a product. I'm in my 50s now. People say I glow the way I did in my 20s. But the truth is, at 20, I didn't glow. I was confused, frustrated, and drowning in advice. What changed everything wasn't something I bought. It was something I learned. My skin wasn't a problem to be solved. It was a story to be understood and a practice to be kept. College. Everyone had an opinion about my skin. My roommate swore by a 10-step routine. The internet swore by acids I couldn't pronounce. Every ad promised transformation in 30 days, so I bought everything. And my skin got worse. Breakouts, redness, stinging when I washed my face. I thought I needed stronger products. I actually needed fewer. Then I found a book that gave my problem a name. Skin Noise, the flood of products, trends, and conflicting claims that gets in the way of what your skin actually needs. The industry sells complexity. My skin was begging for simplicity. That book introduced me to a framework I've now used for over 30 years. 8 letters. Personal, profile, eliminate, restore, stimulate, observe, nourish, align, lock. Not 8 steps you finish once. 8 lenses you return to for a lifetime. The book called it a skin practice, like a yoga practice, something that's yours, something that evolves with you. It started with the first letter. Profile. Know your skin. I learned the most important distinction in skincare, skin type versus skin condition. My type, combination from my genetics, was stable. My conditions, the breakouts, the irritation, were temporary states with causes I could find. And I learned my place on the Fitzpatrick map. With my Middle Eastern ancestry, I tan easily and rarely burn. But every pimple I picked at could leave a dark mark that lingered for months. Suddenly my skin's history made sense. Eliminate was the hardest letter. And the most freeing. I cut my routine down to a few well-chosen products that work together instead of against each other, and I let the rest go. Without guilt. Then came Restore. All that stinging and redness, I hadn't been purging. I'd been damaging my skin barrier, my body's first line of defense, with overexfoliation and harsh cleansers. So I rebuilt it. Gentle cleanser, ceramide moisturizer. Patience. And the one habit the book called the single most evidence-backed practice in all of skincare. Broad-spectrum sunscreen, every morning, even cloudy ones. My skin rarely burned, so I'd assumed I didn't need it. I was wrong. The sun damage of your 20s doesn't show up in your 20s. It sends the bill later. By my late 20s, I added Stimulate, gently activating my skin's own renewal. A low-strength retinol started slow. Not because anything was wrong, because the book taught me that the retinol you start at 27 is an investment in the skin of your 40s. Protect, establish, prevent. That was my 20s. My 30s arrived quietly. Fine lines around my eyes, skin that felt a little less springy, a dark mark on my cheek that outstayed the pimple that caused it by half a year. The old me would have panicked and bought 5 new products. Instead, I went back to the method, the letter that changed my life. Observe. Watch your skin with curiosity, not anxiety. I took baseline photos. I kept a daily check-in, and patterns appeared that no ad had ever told me about. My skin flared the week before my cycle. It drank moisture in winter and rebelled against heavy creams in summer. The niacinamide was fading my dark marks. The trendy serum was doing nothing. And that's when the frustration turned into an idea. Every product claimed results, but results for whom? Measured how? I didn't want claims. I wanted evidence about my face. So I built the tool I wished existed. I called it Nuraskin, an app that analyzes a simple selfie with AI, tracks it over time, and shows you your skin's real trajectory. It keeps you honest with your routine, sends a progress report every month, and answers the only question that matters. Is this actually working for me? The book taught me observation is the engine of the whole method. Nuraskin became my engine's instrument panel. 2 products I loved turned out to be passengers, not drivers. One humble ingredient turned out to be doing the heavy lifting. I stopped paying for marketing. I started paying for measurable results. Somewhere in my 30s, I also learned that skincare doesn't stop at my skin. Nourish, feeding my skin from within. What I ate, how I hydrated, showed up on my face before it showed up anywhere else. My gut and my skin, it turns out, are in constant conversation. Align, bringing my life into partnership with my skin, the stressful launch months when my face broke out on schedule, the short sleep weeks that showed up under my eyes. Sleep, stress, hormones, environment, none of it is separate from skincare. It is skincare. No serum can outperform a life that's working against your skin. So I stopped treating my routine as 3 minutes at a sink and started treating my whole day as part of the practice. Then came my 40s. And my skin changed the rules again. Perimenopause, estrogen declining, and with it, collagen. Skin that had been oily my whole life turned dry, almost overnight. Firmness I'd taken for granted started to soften. Here's what 3 decades of practice had taught me. This wasn't failure. This was biology changing over time. The system working exactly as designed. My skin is responsive. My practice had to be too. So I adapted. Richer moisturizers, deeper barrier support, my retinoid, adjusted, not abandoned. And for the first time, a dermatologist as a true partner. Because I walked in with 2 years of tracked data and real questions. And walked out with guidance made for me. The method never told me what to buy. It taught me how to think, so that when my skin changed, I knew exactly how to change with it. And that brings me back to this mirror. The final letter. Lock. Build the routine. Keep the practice. Play the long game. People look at my skin and assume I found a miracle. But there was no miracle. There was a Tuesday. And a Wednesday. And 10,000 ordinary mornings of sunscreen and observation and small intelligent adjustments. The book calls it the compounding effect, and it's the most important idea I've ever applied to my skin. The industry trained us to expect miracles in 30 days and quit when they don't come. But skin health isn't an event. It compounds, like interest, like fitness, like anything you show up for consistently. I didn't get this glow in my 50s. I earned it, one unremarkable day at a time, starting in a college dorm with 15 products too many. And one book that told me the truth. Here's what I want you to hear, wherever you are in your story. Your skin is not a problem to be solved, it's a story to be understood, and a practice to be kept. You don't need more products. You need a method. Profile your skin, eliminate the noise, restore your barrier, stimulate renewal, observe, nourish, align, and lock it in for life. Everything I've shared is in the Longevity Glow, including the 8-week foundation plan that turns these 8 letters into your first 8 weeks. And the practice I built for myself, Nuraskin, is now in your pocket. Take a selfie, get your baseline, and let your own skin, not the ads, tell you what's working. Start today. Not because your skin needs fixing. Because 30 years from now, you'll be standing at a mirror like this one, meeting the glow you began building today.